Has this ever happened to you? Stale. Are you tired of stale meta? Spice it up with anti-meta. Welcome back everyone to another video. My name is Riley Wren, and today we're taking a look at an anti-meta deck, Togekiss VMAX. Before we dive into the deck profile, I just want to give a quick shout out to our friend Skilledatluck, who played this exact 60 in this week's late night tournament, so special thanks to them for letting us show off their list. Let's check it out. Feels like this card has been legal forever since its release in Vivid Voltage, but we are going to be using Togekiss VMAX with this max glide attack, dealing 120 damage for 2 colorless energy, and then it lets us search our deck for any 2 cards we want. In this case, we have lots of disruptive cards like Crushing Hammers, we have Flannery, cards like Avery, Path of the Peak, Yell Horn, we even have the Yveltal from Celebrations in here, so all kinds of cards that are aimed at disrupting your opponent's setup. With the popularity of Lugia, the Celebrations Yveltal with that Cry of Destruction attack is going to be taking all of their special energy out of play. That is kind of the focus of this deck, the main goal, and this deck is really just here to target that Lugia deck. To help us get set up, we do have 2 copies of Snorlax with that Gourmandize ability, letting us draw until we have 7 cards in our hand. We also have cards like Radiant Gardevoir and Dunsparce to protect our Togekiss VMAX, and even 1 copy of Miltank, just to make sure that our opponent can't attack us as consistently as they might want to. This deck is able to take full advantage of Cheren's Care. Once our Togekiss VMAX is damaged from an attack, we can Cheren's Care to pick it up, re-evolve into a bench Pokemon, and then attach a double turbo energy to set up our Togekiss VMAX in 1 turn. To ensure that we're able to fully lock our opponents out of the game, we have 2 copies of Pal Pad, 2 copies of Cyllene, just ways that we can recycle cards and keep an infinite loop going of disruption. This deck really relies on keeping our Togekiss VMAXs from getting knocked out, so we do have to play cards like Big Parasol, mostly here for that amazing rare Yveltal to keep us from getting knocked out by that attack. We have Tool Jammer to turn off choice belts. We have V-Guard Energy to protect our Togekiss a little bit further, reduce the amount of damage that it's taking. Again, all just to make sure that we keep our Togekiss alive and we can just keep gliding. So that's the list. Let's see it in action. Getting into a game with Togekiss VMAX, looking for a special energy deck, especially with this Yveltal in the active. We don't have an out to get our Togekiss down, so we're hoping that we don't go up against, and I was just going to say hoping we're not up against something that can donk us turn 1 like Mew. But we do top deck the Quick Ball, so that's great. We can even go in with the Snorlax if we want to. I think I'm just going to have to risk it and go in with a Togekiss. Quickly want to check the prizes to see if this Peonia can net us anything later in the game. We have 2 double turbo energy prize, so Peonia is definitely going to come in handy for us later in the game. We do have our paths, we have boss. Good cards there. So we'll grab the Togekiss, and I'm going to hold on to this energy since they might try to escape rope KO our Togekiss. Nothing we can really do to play around that, unfortunately, but at least we'll have the response with the Yveltal, and if they do just take out the active this turn or whiff a KO, as if that could ever happen, but if they do whiff that for any reason, we can go in with the Cry of Destruction, although I have to imagine they're not going to be attaching any energy unless they have the KO guaranteed. And this could also be just this strictly double turbo build. We haven't seen anything yet that makes me think this could be Meloetta, but this Ultra Ball, or this Quick Ball should tell us, and there it does find the Meloetta. Getting rid of a few good cards. They have the Sparkle already. This will make it a little bit harder for them to find an energy to attach to couple with this. But since they played that Sparkle before, it will be that much harder for them to actually find an additional energy to attach to get the KO with Meloetta. So hoping we can dodge the escape rope. But at this point, I'm really hoping... I might actually be hoping for the escape rope here, because if they take out the Togekiss, we still have the Yveltal in the active and can just use Cry of Destruction. And they do get the double turbo, so they will get the KO on the active, but not the KO on the Togekiss. So I'm okay with that. I think I can live with that. We will actually be able to go into our Togekiss on the next turn, and if they attack with this Meloetta, we'll be able to take it out with Togekiss. Have the Avery as well to get rid of some of their benched Pokemon. So honestly, not too bad. This is a pretty good matchup for us. They are so reliant on special energy. And I'm just going to take out this Meloetta, get rid of some energy from play, and they shouldn't be able to take the KO. We can find something like the V-Guard energy or Gardevoir or anything like that. Get rid of those two. So kind of expecting to see those go. And we get the double turbo. I'm going to try this Crushing Hammer on the benched Mew. Do get tails there. I haven't played a single damage modifier though, so I think it's fine to risk it. Does open up Cheren's care if they whiff. And we are taking a bunch of energy out of play with this Max Glide, so we will just see if they have any way to go through this Togekiss. And just in case they do, I think I'm going to have to just grab Togekiss double turbo. I know we have double turbos prized though. Yeah, our hand isn't super great off of this, so just to play around them potentially getting the KO here, we'll take Togekiss double turbo. We do find a double turbo off the prizes. Kind of expected that, but I just wanted to be a little bit more on the safe side. Again, this matchup is pretty positive for us as long as we can stick our paths and disrupt their energy, and it does force them to burn a lot of their resources. So if they're able to get through this Togekiss here in the active, they shouldn't be able to get through a second Togekiss, which is kind of what we're hoping. Of course, their goal is probably to get this Togekiss and KO at this turn, but they did burn a power tablet, so I do like to see that. I want them to kind of burn through these resources as much as we can, as much as they can, so that our disruption cards hit them that much harder. Would have loved to have gone for the Yveltal play this coming turn, but again, it's kind of awkward because if we went for that and they took out this Togekiss, we couldn't even really have gotten into it, so kind of had to go this way, just play it a little bit safer. They might whiff the KO on the active. They did only play one power tablet. They play Air Balloon. I just noticed they play 2 copies of Air Balloon, which is a little bit scary. They play the Sparkle. I don't think they just have the one left in deck potentially. Do you get just the one Fusion Energy and a Pokemon Catcher? Everybody playing Catcher Mew today. They do get heads, so I'm actually okay with this. They've already burned one of their power tablets, so them taking the KO on the Togekiss here, they already had that lined up as long as they get a VMAX on this turn. And when we go with our potential V-Guard Energy or even Radiant Gardevoir to protect this Togekiss a little bit more, it should be that much harder for them to actually get through it to take the KO. We can even find our Tool Jammer. And that's a good thing as well about the air balloons on these Genesects, is we do at least have Tool Jammer, so we could potentially still boss these up at some point later in the game. Draw with Genesect, so definitely thinking this Togekiss in the active is going down. For any reason they whiff, though. Get another Mew. But I'm feeling like we're pretty safe on the following turn. Assuming we can actually find something. They go for an energy mix. So this turn, I'm really hoping to go into an Yveltal and just take, they play a basic Psychic, so that's tough. And we did get the Forest Seal Stone, so that's actually going to get us into this Yveltal this turn. So definitely just going to go straight for that. Use the Star Alchemy, get the Yveltal. Can evolve into the Togekiss to give us that free retreat. Go into Yveltal, hatch the double turbo. Use this Cyllene here. Do get a heads. Debating between the Avery or the Crushing Hammer. Put the Avery back on top, just give us a little bit more draw options, especially if we get Marnied, since we aren't going to be using Max Glide this turn. And we'll go in with the Cry of Destruction, get rid of all 3 of those special energy. Now our opponent's down to just this Psychic Energy in play. Bro, what? Our opponent hit us with the Roseanne's backup. It was funny because I was playing against Mew earlier in the ladder and I was literally thinking to myself that Roseanne's backup would be the worst possible card I could see for, you know, for the matchup. And here it is. We actually see a Roseanne's backup. Super unfortunate, but they can't play more than one. Even if they play like a Pal Pad or something, I think we're still okay, but that just blew my mind. Was not expecting to get hit by a Roseanne's backup. If they take the KO on this Yveltal this turn, we still have our 2 Togekisses down, and they're burning another power tablet. So I'm feeling pretty good about our Togekisses surviving that much longer. Right, the Rotom phone. And a sec to draw into that. Again, we know we're top decking the Avery here, so we can take away of their draw power and have to assume they're getting a KO with this Mew, otherwise they shouldn't be attaching that energy. Get a Cram. I do get heads, so they'll definitely get the VMAX here, which is fine. We're okay giving them this prize. It doesn't actually matter in the prize trade. I guess they could Echoing Horn and take this out again in addition to a VMAX, but we're going to try to feed them or go through, you know, force them to take 2 VMAX KOs. They play an Old Cemetery. And I'll take the KO with Mew here. Use Techno Blast. I like to see them getting rid of a Stadium though, since this Path to the Peak that we're going to hit them with at some point will be that much more impactful. And we'll just start off with the Avery right away. Wow, we get a Crushing Hammer and a V-Guard energy. We are going to have to deal with this basic Psychic at some point, and we have to assume as well that our opponent is playing something like Training Court to get back, since, you know, since we're seeing the Psychic here, can almost just assume that there's a Training Court in there. We do hit head, so that is huge. I think I'm actually going to hold off on the Yveltal because I don't want to put them back to a 1 VMAX KO for game. So we're going to just hit them with the Max Glide here. Definitely want to get a Path to Peak in play at some point and would love to discard more of their energy. So we're going to grab Flannery if it's in the deck. Flannery and Path to the Peak, I think, are going to be our choices here. Our opponent does need a way to switch between Mews to reset the attack on this Mew. Could also just get a second Mew into play, I suppose. And let's see, is there anything in here as I get another Genesect down that makes me think there's a second Roseanne's backup? Going with the Genesect. See, another Power Tablet played. Card down. 3 Power Tablets, plus they have the Choice Belt on the active. The Escape Rope, I'm actually not really bummed to see that. It does reset their attack, obviously, but at least they're not hitting the one with the energy attached. Just a little minor difference, but I don't hate that. It's better than a switch, in my opinion. So it actually gives us the option to attach the V-Guard energy here if we want to. So not the worst. I do assume they're going to get a switch option there, but I don't think they get the KO, and they don't. They whiff the KO here, so we could actually even just Cheren's Care this out of play if we really want to. I don't feel terribly pressured to do so, however. I think I'm actually going to Flannery away their energy, the Stadium, and then Path to the Peak them. That seems a little bit better to me. Get rid of those. Path to the Peak. V-Guard energy here. And we'll retreat and use Max Glide. Search our deck. Opponent's played a lot of switch cards, so I think I might even go in with this Boss's Orders. And I'm assuming that there's possibly a Training Court at some point, so I want to get a Counter Stadium just to have that for potential Training Court at some point. And we'll grab the Boss's Orders to potentially strand one of their Genesects. They do have the Air Balloons, which maybe they have something like a Shopping Center. See the Cram. Tails, love to see that. Unfortunately, we don't get a KO on this Mew VMAX currently, since we are only hitting for 100, but they do go for the boss, so they might just take the KO outright here. And they just retreat here. And a pass, so nothing really from our opponent that turn. I'm just going to go ahead and Cheren's Care. And I'm actually okay to bench another Togekiss. Again, the prizes don't really matter. We have the Team Yell's Cheer to put Pokemon back into the deck if we need to. And we'll just hit him with the Max Glide. Yes, we will search the deck. And we'll grab the Tool Jammer and Pal Pad. I think on the following turn, depending on what they do, we can Tool Jammer to keep the Genesect in the active and just start passing and try to deck them out. We can boss up the other Genesect and throw the Tool Jammer down. Plenty of options here. And they do Marnie us, so super unfortunate to see that, but they are that much closer to decking themselves out. See what we can get off of this, but they shouldn't again be able to take this KO on the Togekiss. And even if they hit us, we can just Cheren's Care to reset it. It looks like they will be able to get a hit in on us, which is unfortunate, but we should be able to just reset that, wipe all of the damage away, and just go in with a Max Slide again. See the Rotom Phone. You're really just seeing the power of the ability to abuse that Cheren's Care like I was mentioning before. You can just kind of loop through your Togekiss, deny your opponent from being able to take KOs, and just kind of win through this battle of attrition so that you're eventually running your opponent out of resources. And just a pass from our opponent, and they just concede. So I'm not sure if they timed out or something like that, but we were just going to Cheren's Care if they hit us. We had so many things going for us in that game. Feel like that one was pretty much just a foregone conclusion for Togekiss. So there you're able to see the power of this Togekiss VMAX deck and that special energy denial, especially in a format that is dominated by Mew VMAX, Lugia, and all those other special energy decks. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like on it, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see everyone in the next video.